Hello everyone, welcome back to the third week of OMG230, Introduction to Supply Chain Management. So this week we are going to talk about how to create and manage supplier relationships. To better understand this topic, you can change it to how to create and manage friendship. So that will be easier and more interesting to understand this class. So this is learning objective. You can read by yourself. And this week we are going to talk about how to develop supplier relationship, how to evaluate and certify suppliers, how to develop suppliers, and what are the software for SRM, supplier relationship management. First, what are the keys to successful partnership? Or you can change it to what are the keys to successful friendship. First, how to develop strong supplier partnership. You need to achieve a win-win relationship. Win-win means that it's not a zero-sum game. It's not someone wins, someone loses. So both parties can win from the relationship. So you can have a mutual commitment for each other. Okay, so both of you can benefit from the relationship, and you can share relevant information, you can share the risk, and you can share the reward of this relationship. So like the best friends, they share everything. They laugh together, they cry together, they share information, so they share risk, they share reward. So that is friendship. That's also partnership. Second, you need to trust each other. With trust, you are more willing to work together. Okay, so with trust, you can work toward achieving long-term benefit for both parties. But without trust, so you are going to hide something from each other, and without transparent informations, you cannot work efficiently. You cannot minimize the cost. Then you need to share vision and objective. So both of you need to have the same goal. The goal need to be mutually agreeable. You move on the same directions, okay, on the same strategic path. Relationship, of course, you need to have personal relationship with your buyers. Even though suppliers and buyers, they are business to business relationship, but it is people who communicate and make things happen. So you need to know your buyers. Okay, you need to know your buyers, and you need to know your suppliers in person. You need to build up personal relationship. And both of you need to be able to benefit from each other. So you are business. Business need to make money. So if your relationship will squeeze the profit of another party, this relationship is not sustainable. I like this quote. An alliance is much like a marriage. And if only one party is happy, then the marriage is not likely to last. So if only supplier or buyers is happy from the relationship, then the relationship is not going to last too long. And we need commitment, especially commitment from the top management, because the relationship needs trust. So the top management of both parties must support the relationship. Otherwise, you cannot trust each other. And okay, change management. So partnership is like a marriage. So when you invite another person into your marriage, into your family, you need to change a lot of things. So partnership is the same. So companies must be prepared to manage change that comes with the formation of new partnership. And it's about information sharing. So both parties, you need to build formal and informal lines of communications. So you must agree how will you exchange the information. So how will you share information. You can share information through ERP systems, through technology, through phone call, through in-person visit. That's fine, but you need to have formal and informal lines of communications. Then you need to be able to make sure your suppliers have the right technology and the capabilities to meet the standard, to meet the cost, quality, delivery requirements in a timely manner. So they must be capable. Then you need to know how to evaluate their performance. Suppliers also need to know how you will evaluate their performance. I like this quote: you can't improve what you can't measure. So the measurement include quality, cost, delivery, and flexibilities. You can read our textbook. The textbook have a long list. So include many metrics can be measured in these categories. Okay, and last chapter I talk about total cost of ownership. The total cost of ownership is what is the cost? What are the items of the cost if you use these suppliers? So not only variable cost, fixed cost, but also the quality, the delivery times, and many other items. So you need to include all the items and calculate what is the total cost of using these suppliers. Continuous improvement. So this idea is from the quality management. So if you want to have a long-term partnership, you need to keep improving the performance. Okay, both parties need to be willing to continuously improve the capabilities in meeting customers' requirements in these categories. Then how to monitor supplier relationship. So you should monitor the key issues of supplier relationship, including these 5 items: their creativities, their stabilities, whether you communicate with them well, are they reliable, do they deliver the best value. Okay, so this is the focus of this chapter and also the assignments of these chapters. So how to evaluate suppliers' performance and how to certify suppliers. Okay, so you need to follow the procedures. So what is supplier certification? So it's a process. It's a process and how to evaluate the performance of your suppliers and how to make sure the suppliers have the capability to achieve the goal. Okay, so you can have many criteria in the certification process, but I will talk more about ISO. So ISO certification is very well known and widely used by many companies. I will introduce ISO in the next 2 slides. Okay, so this is the process for the suppliers evaluation systems. Okay, so you can follow 7 steps to evaluate the suppliers. So the first step, you need to select the key dimensions of performance measurement. Okay, so for example, so these companies, we want to evaluate the suppliers for XYZ companies. Okay, so the first step, we list all the important performance measures. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 items are the most important measurement for good suppliers. So that's the first step. Select the key dimensions of performance. So both of us need to agree. Okay, so customer and supplier need to agree. So these are all important performance measurement. Then the second, you need to monitor and collect data. Then you need to visit each suppliers to collect their performance on each items on this measurement. You need to collect data. Maybe it involves site visit. You need to visit them several times and collect data you need. Then the third step, you need to assign a weight to each of the dimensions. So for each dimension, based on the importance of each dimension, you assign weight. So for example, quality is very important, so 25%, and technology 10%. So you assign a weight to each dimension, and the total of the weight need to be equal to 1 or 100%. Then you, based on the data you have, you evaluate performance measures of each suppliers between 0 and 100. For XYZ supplier, this is the ratings, so 80 out of 100 for technology, so 90 for quality. Okay, so you have a rating for each dimensions, then you can calculate the final value. So 80 times 10% is 8. 90 times 25% is 22.5. So this is the final value. So you add them up, then this is the total score of this supplier. So now this is step 5. Multiply dimension ratings by weight and the sum of overall scores. So based on the scores, if you go through the evaluation process for each supplier will have the score. Then step 6, you classify vendors based on the overall scores. For example, if the suppliers get less than 60, then it's unacceptable. Between 60 and 80 is conditional. Between 80 and 90 is certified. Higher than 90 is preferred. Yeah. So through this process, so we know the list for certified suppliers and also preferred suppliers, and some suppliers you should not consider. Then you need to repeat this process every certain years. Okay, so for example, like every 5 years, you need to start the process over. Okay, and make sure the suppliers still have the same capabilities. Even maybe they improve their performance or performance becomes worse. So you need to have the same process, run the same process every certain years. Okay, so with this knowledge, you can answer the assignment questions. Okay, so about ISO certifications. The most popular ISO standard is ISO 9000 and ISO 14000. ISO 9000 is about quality, including the product design, development, production, and installation and service. Okay, so if a companies want to sell their product to global market, they need to be certified by ISO 9000. ISO 14000 is another thing. It's about environmental management. So ISO 14000 focus on whether the production process, the product design is more environment friendly. So including whether you reduce energy consumption, whether you take environmental liabilities, and whether you reduce waste and pollutions, whether you improve community goodwill. Okay, so that's ISO 14000. The next topic is about how to develop suppliers. So for some raw materials and components, maybe you cannot find enough qualified suppliers. Then what should you do? Then you need to develop suppliers, develop potential suppliers to be certified suppliers. Okay, and so what should you do? First, you need to identify what product and service need more suppliers. Then you can contact some potential suppliers. Okay, maybe the suppliers currently they don't meet performance requirement, but they have potential. So you can contact the suppliers. You can form a cross-functional team, visit them, meet their top management, and tell them, so we want to develop your companies to be our certified suppliers. So you can tell them what should they do, okay, how you can develop some development projects and both of you need to agree on what area need to be improved. Then you can monitor the process, and also maybe in the future you will certify them. Okay, supplier recognitions. So if you have good suppliers, you need to recognize them. Okay, so companies should recognize and celebrate the achievement of their best suppliers. Okay, so you should give them award, and they should be the role model of other suppliers. So award winners, okay, they will be example of continuous improvement, organizational commitment, and excellence. Okay, you can release the information to other suppliers, and they will be the role model for other suppliers. The last part of today's class is about SRM. You can use software to help you to manage the supplier relationship. Okay, so the SRM can help you to track suppliers' interactions and also help you to analyze the suppliers and also evaluate their performance. You can rely on the computer system. So the computer system can help you to automate the routine transaction such as place an order. And you can use the system to integrate your production system with the supplier's production system. So you connect to each other, so you can easier to place an order. And you can use the SRM to share information, make the process and information visible to each other. And you can collaborate through the information sharing, and you can optimize the process. Okay. So these are the popular software used by the firms. So Oracle, SAP, they are very famous ERP supplier. So I remember in the first week, so many students visit the supply chain, workers, okay, and many of them mention, if you know SAP, you will have advantage to get the job, okay. And the good news is in OMG230 ERP and SCM cases, I spent about 1 month teaching you how to use SAP. Okay, that will add a lot of value in your job hunting process. So the benefit of SRM. So benefit is from automation of procurement activities. Okay, so you can read by yourself. So that is the third chapters of Introduction to Supply Chain Management. I hope you enjoyed the discussion and assignment this week. The discussion question is very interesting. Okay, I will see you next week.